All right, what to do with ICBC? That's been one of the big questions facing the new NDP government. And it comes in light of a report last month that relieved the insurance corporation is in a state of financial crisis. Oh, it's so bad that it could force a rate increase of 30% over the next few years. Today, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation released its own report and is pushing the province to turn ICBC into a co-op. Our Tanya Fletcher has been looking into this story for us today. So, Tanya, how exactly would that work?
Anita, this idea is being pitched as a way to turn ICBC into a co-op of sorts owned by policyholders, and yet at the same time opening up the market to also allow private companies to sell basic insurance. The CTF describes it as a Goldilocks approach, taking the best of both worlds, and compares it to companies like Mountain Equipment Co-op and Van City. So here's the group director now explaining how that co-op idea could be applied to ICBC.
All drivers and people who need insurance would become members in the same way that people who founded Mountain Equipment Co-op or Van City for their bank are all members. And so if they all go into it together, they can all get insurance together that way. What it does is it takes away basically the big government hand from it, and it also removes the temptation of governments to use it to fill their budget deficits.
She says the bottom line is that giving people the option of an ICBC co-op or a private insurer will drive more competition and lead to more affordable rates. However, critics say there are a few flaws with this model. A regulatory lawyer who's represented ICBC employees in the past is doubtful this would work, and here's why.
The purpose of co-ops is to carve things out of private ownership or private corporations. We already own ICBC, it's public. So turning it into a co-op is a form of privatization. It's already ours. Why would we share it with anyone else? So it's just a disguised privatization. We've been through this before.
Now, I also spoke with the author behind BCPolicyPerspectives.com, and he mirrors some of those same skepticisms. Richard McCandless believes this is simply another way to push privatization in our province. And while he does agree with having more separation between ICBC and the government, he says, Anita, that splitting optional and basic insurance would really be too complex in the end.
So is this co-op model something that the NDP government would actually want to pursue?
That's exactly what I asked the Attorney General. David Eby is also responsible for ICBC, the minister in charge of the Crown Corporation, and he acknowledges big changes need to be made, especially given that report earlier this month that revealed the major financial chaos within the insurance corporation. But he's not sold on this middle ground idea of introducing a sort of public-private model as a solution.
It's not as simple as public-private because ICBC has in the past, and I believe can again, provide low affordable rates as well as significant benefits to the public in the form of money for enforcement, driver's license administration, and other public services.
Now, Eby maintains full privatization is not the way to go because those costs would still be passed on to taxpayers in other ways. It's something that government has always said. So what is the solution? Well, he blames the previous Liberal government of raiding ICBC to use that money elsewhere. And the minister says going forward, ICBC revenue will stay within the Crown Corporation to manage those costs. And Anita, he also insists that drivers will not see an increase or a significant increase, at least, in insurance rates going forward.
I'm sure many are hoping for that. Thanks very much, Tanya.
You bet.